Welcome back. According to latest guidelines released by University Grants Commission's National Credit Framework, students will be able to earn credits now for specialized knowledge in Indic systems like Purans, Veds and other Indian knowledge systems. The National Curriculum Framework 2023 document lists 64 kalas or applied sciences or vocational disciplines and crafts, as well as 18 major vidyas or theoretical disciplines that can be used to earn these credits now. These include subjects like the four Vedas, Ayurveda in medicine, Dhanurveda in weaponry, Gandharva Veda in music, Shilp in architecture, Puran, Nyay, Dharma Shastra and more, along with philosophy, formed the basis of 18 sciences in ancient India. This is part of the larger exercise to Indianize education and learning in the country under the proposed NEP, National Education Programme 2020, which also advocates that there should be, quote, no hard separations between vocational and academic streams. Let's first understand this move by the University Grants Commission. So 18 major Indian Vidyas and 64 Kalas, which are vocational subjects, will be included in various forms of undergraduate and postgraduate courses. According to the National Credit Framework, knowledge about Purans, Vedas, Ayurveda can now be creditized. The credits earned through Indian knowledge systems will amount to 5% of the total mandated credits required in UG and PG courses. UGC wants to incorporate learnings across a variety of axes for these levels of higher education. This is also for the first time that a credit-based system is also being introduced from the school onwards, although Indian knowledge systems only apply to higher education. A huge row has erupted after these details came to light. Several opposition leaders are slamming the government. First, they allege that the government is trying to saffronize the education system in the country. Opposition leaders believe that these changes are not according to international standards. They also believe that these changes are against the values embedded in the preamble of the Constitution and the Constitution itself. Opposition leaders added that making Indian knowledge systems mandatory will create problems for students. Some even went on to claim that the government might destroy an entire generation. So the big debate that's coming up, if there is a push for Indian value system, a 5% of the total curriculum, why is there an opposition? Let's go across to our guest joining us. Neeraj Atri is author, Brainwashed Republic. Professor Dinesh Vashni is CPI leader. Of course, he's a professor himself. Professor Vashni, let me understand from you. I have limited time, so please be quick with your responses so that we can, have a healthy debate. What is your basic objection? If you go through this framework, it only promotes or encourages students to learn about these Indian systems and then also get the benefit of credits if you go through a certain course. What is the central objection?
Look, Shivani, first of all, it is a wrong hypothesis. Whosoever is saying that this is not taught. The Vedas and the Puranas and the Dharma Shastras and the ancient architecture, ancient craft and everything is taught even today in respective courses.
Right.
I just give you an example. You see, every time when we modernize the education, we should promote the scientific temperament of the student through the knowledge. We should not take away from students from this development of scientific temperament. Unfortunately, these value-added courses, for example, Vedic mathematics. I challenge any expert of the Vedic mathematics to sit with the modern mathematician, and solve any equation of the world today, whether it is for supercomputers, whether it is for aircraft mechanics, whether it is hydraulics or mechanics, any subject. They cannot. They cannot.
So you are saying that these value-added subjects, as you put it, are not scientific in nature and therefore they should not be included. But can I ask you a follow-up question? As you said, as far as higher education is concerned, these are already available. The only difference is that now students can get the benefit of credits if they go through these subjects of their own volition. So what's the problem?
First of all, look, this new education policy 2020 is an attempt to privatize the higher education in the hands of the private hand, and the fees will go higher. Number two is that value-added courses or this credit system. You know what is credit system? If a particular subject teacher is not available in one college, that student can learn the class from another college and he will get the credit from there. Whereas he will miss the class in this college.
But they have to give exams, right?
Yes.
They still have to give exams.
he has to clear the exam.
Yes.
But will you go through the syllabus? For example, I am teaching one of the paper, this new paper. In this paper, the knowledge base has been reduced.
Okay.
Knowledge base has been reduced. I have been given only 3 periods, which I cannot compete. So I cannot go philosophically, I cannot go scientifically and exponent my students to this.
No,
So
sir,
have
I
to
understand
limit
your
my-
objections as far as the other objections are concerned, but due to paucity of time, I can't quite discuss them. Let's just stay focused on the opposition that is coming to Indian knowledge systems, ancient systems, but they are our heritage. What's wrong with students learning of them on their own volition? They can pick and choose according to their streams. There's a vast variety of subjects available, and some of them are based on ancient Indian scientists as well. So, Neeraj Atri, what's your take on this? Is this a colonized mind that is refusing to accept that Indian students should also study what came from this land?
Absolutely, Shivani, you hit the nail on the head. When I was listening to the learned co-panelist, what he has done is he's given a straw man argument of Vedic mathematics. Although all the changes that you suggested, all the topics that you just read out, none of them is talking about Vedic mathematics. That is how they are changing the goalpost. Now, coming to the core of the question, that when we are talking of Indian knowledge system, we are talking of those knowledge systems which have been kept at the back burner just because some politicians did not want to highlight the Indian achievements for the last maybe 5 millennia. And just to quote one example, the study of Angus Madison, the economic history of the world, that tells us that India was ruling the roost, was having 33% of the world's GDP when it was mired, when it was studying these ancient education systems, Indian knowledge system. And that was the time when people were coming from all over the world to pursue these studies. That is exactly what was needed. And when you are saying it is a colonized mind, absolutely right. It is just that colonial baggage that these people are carrying, that if something is Indian, it has to be backward, and if something is coming from West, that is, yeah.
On the issue of Vedic maths, from what I understand, as far as mathematics students are concerned, it is part of the choice that is given to them. There are several systems like numbers, fractions and geometry in Vedas, simple constructions from Sulba Sutras. And Vedic mathematics is also part of the choice. So it's not like it is not there.
Yeah,
it is part of
absolutely.
the Indic systems that is being promoted. So, I mean, do you want to defend Vedic mathematics? Because Professor Vashni is saying that that's not quite conforming to what is modern science today.
See, you've mentioned an entire gamut of mathematical portions which are already in the system, like Sulab Sutras, and Vedic mathematics is just one part of them.
Yeah.
Now, what they try to do is they try to say that, okay, when you're talking of this equation, this is not in Vedas.
So, or Atharva Veda or Yajur Veda or any Veda which is from 1500 BC to 600 or 500 BC, do you want to take the modern students to the era of 1500 BC to 600 BC, or you want to take the student to the 3000 AD?
Okay, let him respond. Let him respond.
Okay. Now this is another nonsensical argument. There is no system of dating. The dating that he's given is
One by one, please. I have limited time. Please, I request one by one. Neeraj Atri, please finish quickly. This is basically dated knowledge. It is not fresh, not scientific, and not advanced knowledge. Why must we take our students back is the central point he's making. Please.
Yeah, there are 2 points in it. One is that he is giving some date. Now I challenge him, any person he can bring over here who can prove that this is the date of this period, which it is absolutely wrong.
Okay.
And it has been debunked by various scholars. This is again that colonial Aryan invasion theory which he is trying to bring in from the back.
Never mind the date of the Vedas. They are ancient. Is there, one second, Professor Vashni, please not like this, because I will not be able to make the best of my time. I have limited time, 2 minutes remaining. Neeraj Atri, central issue is, do Indian students need to learn these systems? I would say they are part of our heritage. If they form only 5% of your curriculum in any case, you have a choice of what you want to study and you get credit for them. Basically, it's a way to incentivize students to also pick these subjects, because now these can be creditized. What is so wrong in it? It's not the whole system, not the whole curriculum. It's 5% of your own heritage.
Absolutely right. See, that is the problem over here. If you go through the education system of the entire world, the education system is designed to invoke a feeling of confidence in their own traditions. And we have such a large corpus of such kind of education, which gives this fillip, this which gives this self-confidence to the students that they belong to a lineage which has been continuous for last more than 5,000 years and has given beautiful scientific discoveries which were given at a time when the entire world was living in a tribal era.
Okay, fair
And
enough.
just
This is basically, this is an accusation towards the left, Professor Vashni, that, left historians or educationists don't want Indian public to grow up with a sense of pride and with a sense of continued history of this Indian civilization. And you look at it purely from a religious prism.
Shivani, I challenge here, show me any book written by the ancient historians or ancient scholars of archaeology, anthropology, social anthropology, architecture, where they have not taught or where they have not written about the ancient system of these things. It means it has been described and it has been explained, and we are teaching. I am teaching it from last 33 years.
So
show me any book.
So what's the objection, Dinesh Vashni? Then why the hullabaloo today?
No, objection is they wanted to say that it is Indianized education in the present time will not give you the scientific temperament. Reason being, we have to go for advance.
But this is not replacing the existing system. This is not replacing modern medicine, even for MBBS students. It is not replacing current mathematics. It is only a 5% addition so that the people also know that, all of this came from Indian land. What's the harm?
By giving them the 5% credit time to them, it will reduce the 5% of the scientific temperament syllabus.
But you're saying this is already being taught. You're saying this is already being taught. The only difference is this is being creditized now.
Shivani, for example, I am teaching one paper in which 2 chapters has been unnecessarily reduced. A link has been reduced.
Okay, no, that's a separate issue. What has been reduced is a separate issue. Here we are talking about something that is being incentivized. I take the points from both our guests. I do thank them for joining us. Let's see how this plays out. But this is a larger national vision and fight, the NEP. And this is going to be a consistent fight in days to come as the NEP is implemented. That's all the time on Play.